Debate Show. It's your favorite Uncle JJ, and as always, I got something to say. I'm back in the dungeon. Better than ever, baby. Up in near bitch. And I want to talk about Championship Sunday. We've got the Patriots at the, who are they playing? Patriots at Broncos and Rams at Seahawks. We've narrowed it down to the final four. And the winner of those two games are going to be playing at Super Bowl 60 at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, in 2 weeks from Sunday. A lot of barbs being thrown between Sean Payton and one of the wide receivers for the New England Patriots. I think it's Butte. That's they kind of throwing some barbs, little shots. It doesn't matter. It's just all fun and games. When the ball gets kicked off Sunday, all of that shit is out the window. So I'm gonna give you a preview of those games, who should win, who will win, and why. And I'm gonna tell you the most entertaining Super Bowl we could get out of the four remaining teams versus who's gonna win. I'm gonna tell you who I would like to see as far as us having an entertaining Super Bowl with a little offense and a little bit of defense. I think that was enough to kind of tell you where I'm gonna go with that. I want to tell my YouTube audience, even though I've already told TikTok, there's an episode up right now that just went up. Not a live stream, but an upload that I just done. Took me about an hour to do it, I'm not going to lie, but I'm covering WWE Unreal. Telling you why the WWE is blacker than it's ever been and why 2026 could be optimistic if they do the right things and the right storylines and whatnot. Also, I explained to you how Tony Khan got exposed again. And it has a lot to do with a return that we had on TNA Impact last night. Somebody who was supposed to be in AEW, and in a week or so now he's in TNA. All of that information is on that episode, so please, y'all, go check that out. Okay, let's get this thing cracking. Championship Sunday. We've got two games that we hope are good. I don't know how good the AFC Championship game will be now that Bo Nix is out for the rest of the playoffs and the Broncos have to try to figure out a way to make the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback, Jarrett Stidham. Now, I'm not saying he can't do it. And we know the Denver Broncos have a championship caliber defense. So they can do it. But Sean Payton is going to have to pull a Kyle Shanahan, so to speak, as far as how good of a coaching job he's going to have to do. Because Mike Vrabel and the Patriots, I'm pretty sure they're coming because they don't have the starting quarterback. Now, Jarrett Stidham can sling it now. He can. But can he get the big plays that he needs with his legs like Bo Nix would do? I think not. Will he make the right throws, the big, deep bombs that Bo Nix has made when they needed him to make it? I don't know. But this is going to be an interesting matchup to see Josh McDaniels and his offense go up against Vance Joseph and that Bronco defense. That's going to be the best part of the game to me. But the deciding factor, while we want to see that matchup, would be what's going to happen with the Patriots defense, which is good. And I know I've said they've got some holes, but they're pretty damn good. And, you know, they played the Texans last week, so we don't want to overreact from that. But we know the Patriots defense is pretty good. And it may be good enough to beat the Broncos without their starting QB. I don't think this game would have been as entertaining with Bo Nix or not more than the NFC Championship game. Now, am I being a little bit biased when I say that because I'm an NFC guy? Kind of. But I still think the NFC games are just better. And I told you all that it would be an NFC West, NFC Championship game, and it will be. I was just hoping that my team was in that matchup, but they're not. I've got another episode that's going to drop this weekend while I'm stuck in the snow. So I'll have time to give you a 30-minute episode explaining to you the truths and the lies of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's annual press conference that they have every year at the end of the season once the Niners season has come to an end. I'll give you a little bit of play-by-play, let you hear some of the things that Kyle and John said as far as their answers to the reporters' questions. Can't wait to give you that one. But I'm not making this about the 49ers today. We're done. But the four teams that are not done is the Patriots and Broncos and the Seahawks and Rams. I'm not really going to tell you who's going to win because I ain't going to lie to you. I'm going to say three words that everybody should probably be saying when it comes to who's going to win these games. I don't know. And I say that because these four teams are so good and the matchups are so even. It's just hard to really predict who's going to win. While I want to say that the Broncos just can't get it done without their starting quarterback, again, their defense is championship caliber, and they can still pull it off. All they need to do is make a play or two here and there and just try to keep Drake May, Stephon Diggs and those guys, Butte and all those guys, like they won't shut them down, but they need to at least contain them. And, just try to turn those touchdowns, would-be touchdowns, into field goals. And the Broncos can get it done. But still, that's a long shot. Nobody's really giving the Broncos a chance. So it would be easy for me to say the Patriots are going to win. But as soon as I count the Broncos out, they prove me wrong each and every time. That's what they've done in the 2025 season. So I don't know. And I'm not going to tell you who's going to win. And when it comes to the Seahawks and the Rams, man, this makes it even tougher because both of the starting quarterbacks are playing. Matt Stafford was an MVP candidate. He still is, but I don't know if he's going to get it now because, well, the last half of the season, he didn't look as sharp as he looked the first half of the season. And these two postseason games, everybody's talking about how Matt Stafford has just not been that sharp. But what people are failing to mention is that he's still got, drives, game-winning drives in those games. If he doesn't do that, they don't beat Carolina in the wild card game. If he doesn't do that, they don't beat the Chicago Bears. Now, we can say that Caleb Williams shouldn't have threw the pick and they still would have beaten the Rams, but that's neither here nor there. Stafford still came up huge when he needed to. Devontae Adams was not a big factor in Chicago, but he still made one big catch when he needed to. So, with all that being said, then there's Sam Darnold, who's 28-4 against all other teams in the past two seasons. That is remarkable. And I've had to apologize to Sam Darnold. I can't even really call him Scam Darnold like I have been doing. I expected him to, just start seeing ghosts again and buckle under the pressure at some point and fold. He hasn't done that yet. But while he's 28-4 against other teams, he's 1-3 against the Rams. This is where he's not looked his best. This is where it looks like he's starting to see those ghosts. And he just, really gets rattled when he's under pressure. Jared Verse and those guys on the Rams D-line really do know how to bring it to Darnold. And it just makes you wonder, can they do that again? Even though the Rams and Seahawks split in 2025, the Seahawks barely got that second game. And in the first game, they got dominated. Even though I think it was a one-score game and it was still close, they still kind of got bullied. So who's going to win this game? Again, those three words that I think everybody should be saying, I don't know. It's just too close for me. What I do know is that even though Sam Darnold hasn't been good against the Rams, like I said, Stafford hasn't been that good either lately, but he's been good when he counted. The Seattle Seahawks have done a good job, though, at playing teams the third time around. They lost to the 49ers week 1, but then week 18, they pretty much dominated them, even though they only scored 13 points. My Niners only scored 3. The third time around, they just pretty much took us out to the woodshed. So now the third meeting against the Rams. Yeah, the first two games were close. Yeah, they split them. But something just tells me, man, the Seahawks are going to blow them out of the damn stadium. Even though I know this is not the same JV/practice squad team that the Seahawks played last week in the 49ers. You know what y'all been calling us, the banged up Niner gang. So it could go either way. I think that it could easily be a close game coming down to one score. And on the flip side, I can see Seattle just running away from them. Because something about Seattle, when those guys get to doing what they do, they really do look like Seahawks and shit when they get to flying off the line and they got all that speed on defense. I just wonder if the Rams fuck up just once. Any mistakes, Stafford can really not afford to make any of them. He has to damn near play elite. Even though I think they're the most complete team, I think they're probably the most complete team and the best team left, and they could win this game and win the Super Bowl. I do believe that. I also think the Seahawks can do it too because of the defense. And Darnold, if he doesn't have to do much offensively, they'll get the job done. You've got the defense, you've got the running game, you've got the special teams, Rashid Shaheed. Everybody's been talking about me being bitter and crying and upset because they beat my team. When I'm the same guy, and those are false statements, and I'm kind of glad that happened to the Niners because Kyle and John needed that to assess to have a better assessment on what they need to do in this offseason. But I digress. I'm the first one who said at the trade deadline when the Seahawks acquired Rashid Shaheed, this is going to be dangerous. Now, I didn't want him to get a kickoff return for a touchdown on the opening kickoff in the NFC divisional playoff game against my damn team because we lost the game right at that moment. But it's exactly what I said it would be. He was going to be dangerous. I'm going to read y'all comments in 1 second. This ain't going to take long. I'm saying that this game could go either way. The Rams could win in a close one. The Seahawks could just tap that ass and blow them out of the stadium. I don't really know which one it's going to be. While I've been thinking all week, the Rams are the better team. The Rams are going to find a way to win this thing. They really should have swept Seattle. But then I can't help but think that Seattle, they keep progressing each week, each and every week. They have evolved. And the Rams are still the Rams, which is good. But they ain't quite been the same Rams. Seattle's gotten better every time the same team has saw them again. And you're telling me that for a third time, they're going to continue to allow the Rams do to them what they did defensively? Yeah, I think not. Clint Kubiak is a good play caller. And one reason why he's going to probably get the head coaching job in Buffalo or Arizona, or I was hoping Baltimore, but Baltimore already hired their new head coach. I'll talk about that in a moment. He's not only a good play caller, and I hope Kyle Shanahan is watching this and listening, which I know he's not, but he makes the right play calls at the right time. You talk about good situational football. We can be watching a game and you can say, all right, so they've gotten them to bite a few times, watch the double move, or watch them go deep on this play right here. Yeah, it's second and short or third and short, but they could easily go for it. I think they take a shot, and then he'll take a shot. They know when to play conservative and not do too much and not put Sam Darnold, you know what I'm saying, at risk or at harm. And then they know when to say, hey, man, you've got the arm talent, though, just flick it. And then they'll do it. And they're usually successful when they do it. So, y'all, this is just too close to call. Call me what you want, but I'm not going to pick it. Hell, I don't even know why y'all watch me on The Great Debate Show, because it seems like a lot of you can't wait for me to get something wrong. Really not the ones who watch me all the time consistently, but it's mainly the people who just see the clips and the reels, and then they see something that they disagree with, and they can't wait for me to be wrong, and they let me have it in the comments. I had a theory, you all, that my team would win the Super Bowl. We're not. Okay, get over it. I'm over it. It didn't happen. It is what it is. That's a theory from me saying that I think this is all fake and staged. But let's just say it's real. Hypothetically speaking, since we're doing hypotheticals, I'm going to say it's real. I still don't know who wins this game. But I'll tell you the two teams that I think would make for a better, entertaining Super Bowl. I think if Seattle goes, they could kick the Patriots' ass. I think if the Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks play, I think that the Broncos defense can keep them in the game, but without a quarterback, eventually the Seahawks are going to kick their ass. Which kind of leads to me saying again what I've been saying all week. Whoever wins the NFC Championship, now watch me get it wrong. Watch the AFC team win it all. But I think, my personal opinion, and I'm being a little biased, I'm an NFC guy, I think whoever wins this NFC Championship game wins the Super Bowl. And the Seahawks defense can flat out just blow you out if it comes to that. Now again, they ain't playing the 49ers. We're bad. We can't get that pass rush to Sam Darnold like Jared Verse and those boys can. But I would much rather see the Rams and Patriots, because I think that the Patriots and the Rams both have a little bit of offense and a little bit of defense. And they got it both. With the Seahawks, they've got much more defense than offense. If they play the Broncos they're not gonna let JSN just cook. They're not going to let Kenneth Walker cook. It's going to take some time for Sam Darnold, and they're going to have to be very cautious with the play calls and some of the throws and passing concepts that they do. And the Broncos just got defense because they don't have their quarterback. So that offense is so up and down. They do what they got to do when they got to do it. But I would kind of rather see the Rams and Patriots. Now, since I'm saying that's what I want to see, it'll probably be Broncos and Seahawks, or it'll probably be Seahawks and Patriots. I'm okay with the Seahawks and Patriots. But the Broncos, let's just go ahead and put them out their misery, like you do when you take a horse out to the pasture and you just go ahead and let off a few rounds. And I hate to say that. I know Bronco fans don't want to hear it, but don't you just kind of think we'd be getting robbed of a good, entertaining Super Bowl if we have to see the Broncos versus the Rams or Seahawks without their QB? Now, if Jarrett Stidham lights it up and he throws 350 pass yards and some shit like that, 2-3 touchdowns, comes up huge, then hey, it is what it is, and I apologize. But I mean, I guess I just got to see it first to believe it. And I was going to tell you all that I got to see Sam Darnold beat the Rams and give me a complete playoff win without going against a banged-up 49er team that shouldn't even been there. But, I mean, Seattle at home, they can just be unstoppable. They're reminding me of LOB. I'm getting 2013, 2014 vibes. So I don't know. But I know one thing. If we see the Seahawks and Broncos, and the Seahawks blow them out, which they probably will do eventually, again, it's going to be like deja vu. 2013 all over again. Give me the Rams and the Patriots. I'm not saying those two are going to win, but that's the game that I would like to see on Super Bowl Sunday on February? Damn, I'm kind of blocking my calendar. 2 weeks from Sunday. And that's all I got on that note. Okay. 8-2 versus 500 plus teams, says Justin. Or, yeah, I don't know. Justin, who are you talking about? Dub77 says Rams. Hey, bro, is Christian McCaffrey leaving San Francisco? Is that true, or is it fake news? It's probably fake news. If he leaves, he's retiring. After 400-something touches this year, I wouldn't blame him. But nah, I think that's fake news. I hadn't heard that. You think the Rams will win? They can. But as I said, I'm not even predicting that. I don't know. It's too close to call. That sounded like a president election or something, didn't it? JSN against Surtain. That would be good. But on the flip side, no Bo Nix. And so you've got the Broncos offense without their starting quarterback against a vicious, fast Seahawks defense. Now, I think that even though the Seahawks defense is good, Sean McVay, or if they get past the Rams, then you just got to know Sean Payton or Mike Vrabel are going to come up with ways to try to run the ball at the Seahawks. Now, you really can't run the ball at the Seahawks, but they are fast, but they're a little thin. You just kind of got to find a way to pound them like we try to do, but we just can't do it because our offensive line sucks. I don't know who's winning these games, y'all. Eat the Rich says Seattle versus New England. I'll take Seattle versus New England, but I'd rather have the Rams. And another reason why I would like for the Rams to win is because if Matt Stafford gets another Super Bowl, he's in a Hall of Fame, first ballot. Not that he probably already isn't, but this one, I don't think people realize how big of a difference this will do for his career if he gets there again and wins. Not only that, I would love to talk shit about Kyle Shanahan this entire offseason, screaming that Sean McVay got 2 Super Bowls and Kyle, your ass ain't got none. I mean, I would love to say that. But even if Sean McVay doesn't get his second, what about Mike McDonald in Seattle? If he gets a Super Bowl, then he's got a Super Bowl, which is still one more than what Kyle has. So I'll talk shit about that too. That's another reason why I'm hoping the NFC wins the Super Bowl. Mike McDonald just got a head coaching job. He just got to Seattle. And you mean to tell me he can get a Super Bowl before you, Kyle? And you've had 9 years going into your 10th season? I know Niner fans are saying, oh my God, here he is again with the Kyle Shanahan hate. Well, yeah, there I am. Here I am. Because it's just time. And the reason, again, why the Seahawks and Rams are playing Sunday, and we're not, is because, one, the NFC West is really fucking good, and 2, they can draft and we can't. Sean McVay is a head coach, and that's it. Mike McDonald was a head coach, and that's it. While Kyle Shanahan is the head coach, the OC, the general manager, he controls the personnel. John Lynch and Kyle are both the general manager, and real 49er fans know that. It's time for Kyle to stop wearing all the hats and just be a head coach. And he didn't even do that good when it matters the most. We're either always injured or we stay healthy and we choke when it matters the most. And that's why we're not playing and the Seahawks and Rams are. That's just it. Okay. YouTube, how y'all doing? Jofi Joe, he said time for the Pats to punch that ticket to the bowl. Good luck, Jofi Joe. And I'm kind of rooting for y'all. I hope y'all do it. Drake May, I would love to see him in the Super Bowl because I like him a little bit better than Bo Nix. He's got a little bit more talent on his offense, and Bo Nix ain't playing. So I would not want to see the Broncos in the Super Bowl without their quarterback. Watch, that's what the fuck happens. But I hope not, for your sake. Jonathan said, true Nick. Okay. Thank you. Nicholas. Oh, he was talking to Nicholas. An oblique injury affects a quarterback much more than a wide receiver because it hurts the throwing motion and throwing power. Yes, that's correct. And that's why we thought that Sam Darnold would not look good last Saturday, but I didn't see any signs of an oblique injury last week. He didn't throw for 200, 300 yards, but still, he looked fine to me. If St. Brown can play with that injury, Sam Darnold can play fine. Oh, okay, Jonathan. Okay, Nick was letting Jonathan know the facts. And Nick, I'm with you. You're right. An oblique injury for a quarterback is much worse than any other position. I think the Rams will pull it off, but you never know. Thank you for the comment, Mark. Nick said Seattle losing Cabernet, which they have. It's really going to hurt them. Rams are going to score. The question is, can Darnold hold up with that oblique injury? That's a good one. Sledgehammer says Rams and Seahawks. Who you got? Jonathan said the Rams are winning that Sledgehammer. Oh, he's talking to Sledgehammer. Somebody else, Jonathan says Rams, Patriots. Time, what's up, Time? 188. He says Coach of the Year nominees. Patriots coach, Chicago's coach, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. I say give it to whoever wins this game, whoever wins this weekend. The Great Debate Show, the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan will probably come in third place for Coach of the Year. Fine by me. One thing I hate about this coaching job he did this year is now I know he's not ever going to get fired. I know that for sure now. Why do you think, who do you think is going to the Super Bowl, says David? Yeah, I don't know, man. But I would kind of want to see the Patriots and Rams. Eve or V11 Sam said, please make this view. Please make this person go famous. Well, I sure would like to go famous. I'm rooting for whoever he is. Well, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for the comments. How about them LA Dodgers? I got something to say about the Dodgers in a moment, man. Those are my team. That's my team, too. Thank you for the comment, Turbo. Okay, back to TikTok. Bernard, the revenge Super Bowl. Seahawks, Patriots. Seahawks win. That would be a revenge for you all, wouldn't it, Bernard? Dwayne Price, thank you for joining. Joy Flower, Joseph, Manuel, thank y'all for joining me. Triple X Detonate 8 says it's a free Super Bowl for the Rams. Okay, we got George Halani. Who was that, Justin? As a Hawks fan, the Rams game will be hard as fuck. Okay, Bray. Eugene says the Rams will win. Giovanni says the Broncos are completely getting disrespected this week. Well, I'm not trying to disrespect them. I'm just saying they ain't got their quarterback and nobody's giving them a chance. I think they can win. I said that they could win. I just don't want to. I don't know if I want to see them play 2 games without their starting quarterback. And if they don't win at all, then it's like, well, we had a better Super Bowl if we had the Patriots who have their starting QB. But I understand the frustration, Giovanni. I would like it like that if I was you. You know, it's good to be under the radar, underestimated and not expected to win. It'll make it that much sweeter if you can pull it off. And I think that they can do it because they got a championship caliber defense. That's what I said about 15 minutes ago. Sammy D, legacy game. Okay. Thank you for the comment, Z or Zaire. Who do you hire if Cal is fired? I would hire Joe Brady right now. I would hire Mike McDaniel right now. I would hire Mike Tomlin right now if we could just get a good OC. And if we could hire another general manager that would do a lot better than John Lynch. Yes, I would hire some of those guys right now. I would probably hire Mike McCarthy right now if John Lynch is replaced with a general manager that's competent enough to continue to not do the same thing that he does every year, and that's continue to draft these bust defensive linemen who never end up being a damn thing. And Cal continues to draft these wide receivers who can't get on the field. John drafts Nick Martin in the 3rd round, and we never seen him play. It goes on and on. You know, remember Jalen Hurd? Remember Danny Gray? Remember Trent Taylor? Remember those guys? Remember Tanner Mordecai? Remember not him. What's the other dude's name, man? There's some guys, and we didn't see Jordan Watkins or Jacob Cowin this year. We didn't see Jordan James but one damn snap or two this year. Brian Robinson got acquired for what? He was a special teamer for the most part. I mean, like, how these people can't get on the field is beyond me. So while people are so caught up on who do you replace Kyle with, just get rid of him. Because it's obvious he can't get it done. And that's why I praise the Bills owner, even though he's catching a lot of flack right now, for kind of pointing the finger at Sean McDermott. But he said 9 years is enough, Mr. McDermott. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think you have what it takes. You can't cut the mustard. Peace. Deuces. Wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors. 9 years is exactly how long Kyle has been here too, but Jed York is going to play it safe like Triple H and his WWE booking. No. I'm not firing Kyle. Look what he just did in 2025 with all the injuries. But we'll be saying this again in 2027, in 2029, every other year, where, we're stopped with injury after injury, and it's always the key players with the big contracts. And that's another thing that they make a mistake at. They give too many big contracts out. All of those big contract players went on IR. So I think we shouldn't be so hell-bent, Niner fans, on, well, who would you replace Kyle with? That's not my fucking job. That's Jed York's job. But if Mike Tomlin could come into San Francisco with a new general manager and they hire the right OC, like bringing Mike McDaniel in, even though he's already hired with the Chargers, then I would have did it. Joe Brady is getting disrespected in Buffalo right now, and I'm going to explain to you why. I'd take him. I would. Is Kyle a good coach? Yes. But he's wearing too many hats. And that's got to stop. And he's too stuck in his ways, always drafting players that are scheme fit over just the best talent available. Why would you draft Brandon Ayuk in the first place when Justin Jefferson? You could have just moved up a spot or two for him. You moved all the way up for Trey Lance, but you can't move up for CeeDee Lamb. He drafted Deebo Samuel, and A.J. Brown was still on the board in 2019. I mean, he does too much of the scheme fit stuff instead of just the best player available. And this is where it's gotten us. I'm not answering that question anymore. Who would you replace Kyle with? And you probably didn't mean any harm. But I mean, I just think that y'all are you're just giving Kyle way too much props. The teams that we beat this year, we should have beat them, even with the injuries. The Giants are bad. The Cardinals were bad. The Titans were bad. The Browns were bad. The Panthers, they were inconsistent. So that 6-game winning streak, we should have won those games. Even though I doubted we would win all of them. But, I mean, when we played the Texans, we got smashed. When we played the Buccaneers, when the Buccaneers were still the Buccaneers, we lost. When we played the Jaguars, we got smashed. Another playoff team. When we played the Rams the second time around, we got smashed. When we played the Seahawks, we got smashed. When we played the Bears, we barely beat them. So, as the opponents got tougher, we looked more and more like frauds. So don't let that 12-5 record fool you. Okay? We played a schedule that was the easiest strength of schedule because we finished at the bottom of the division. And the only good thing that came from this 12-5 playoff appearance this season is that we are still third in the division. And we will play the third best teams next season. I'm glad for that. We're not ready to play the number one teams. Had we gotten that number one seed, though, that's what it would have been, and we would have been one and done because we would have lost to Seattle regardless. And I know it's easier to say that now after the fact, but it's still a fucking fact. Sean McVay, Mike Macdonald, they can coach. And that's all they do is coach. And they've got great general managers that know how to draft. It's time the Niners get one. Now, some people tell me, keep Kyle, let John go. Kyle hired John, though. That's why y'all got to understand Kyle is in that room making picks just like John. I just named several players. Don't tell me about Bosa and Kittle and Fred Warner. That was 8-9 years ago. What have you done for me lately? And the 2025 draft class for the 49ers was not that good. Outside of Upton Stout, Who are you looking forward to in making any type of development, any more progress besides Mikael Williams? And that's just because you ain't see enough from him. And I think most of us still know he ain't going to be what you want him to be. He's just an edge defender against a run. He doesn't pass rush at all. Okay, let me keep it going though, y'all. The Chargers hired Mike McDaniel, right, as the OC. But this still could change in the next week or so because Mike McDaniel just got an interview with the Buffalo Bills for the head coaching position. Now, while he's an assistant coach and he just took that job, you cannot block these assistant coaches anymore from interviewing for head coaching jobs. So if the Buffalo Bills decided to offer Mike McDaniel a head coaching contract, the Chargers still don't have an OC. And I was just about to praise Harbaugh for finally getting a good OC and finally getting rid of Greg Roman. Man, I wish he had done that when he was in San Francisco. But I digress. The Chargers have an OC for now, but Mike McDaniel is looking at the Buffalo Bills job. Speaking of the Buffalo Bills, I'm going to tell you why they're screwing up. They've got Joe Brady in the room right now, in the building. He did a phenomenal job, and I've said time and time again this season, and I think that he's much better than Brian Daboll. And while Brian Daboll is getting a look, and they're going to interview him, and he's a Buffalo guy, and all of that crap, I could care less. I think Brian Daboll is, you want to know the real reason why Brian Daboll got fired? Because the Giants watched Daniel Jones go to Indianapolis, and the first half of the season, he was balling. And they looked at Brian Daboll and said, why the fuck he couldn't do that here? Huh? You're fired. I think that's the main reason. Jackson Dart was going in and out of the blue tent. He lost Malik Neighbors, and he was just kind of swinging for the fences and striking out every time. I do this, do that. I'm going to call that. No, don't call that. You're going to get your quarterback killed. So it was time for him to get fired. And when he was the OC for Josh Allen, back before he took the Giants head coach job, Josh Allen was kind of, he was great, but he was turning the ball over too much, mainly in the red zone. And he had him doing a little bit too much. Damn, 49ers former quarterback John Brodie just passed away at 90 years old. Real. 90 years old. John Brodie, longtime 49er fan for back in the day. Just got that news. It always be a lot of these deaths, man, right before the Super Bowl. But anyway, I don't think Brian Daboll should get the job. I know it sounds like a no-brainer to most people, but I would say Joe Brady's right there in the room. Hire him. And if not, if I was Joe Brady, I'd take my stuff, pack my things, and I'd say, hey, man, Lamar Jackson could use my services right now. How about I be the OC in Baltimore? Baltimore just hired former defensive coordinator from the LA Chargers, Jesse Minter. Lot of praise and respect from him. Heard good things about him. He's their new head coach. I'm sad to say that they went defense, but, well, the Ravens do need help on defense. They blowing a lot of leads under Harbaugh. I guess it's a good hire, only if he gets a good OC. And Joe Brady could be available, because I wouldn't stay and call plays for Brian Daboll. Let him call his own fucking plays if they hire him. That's just my 2 cents. And why in the fuck is Phillip Rivers getting an interview with the Buffalo Bills for a head coaching job? Not for a quarterback coach, not for a passing game coordinator, not just to be a mentor, but a head coach? Really? What are you doing, Buffalo? And why is his name, Brandon Beane, whatever his name is, why did he still keep his job as general manager? So the owner got it half right. I applaud him for letting go of Sean McDermott. Too many times, the defense has failed them. It's the reason why Josh Allen puts his cape on and he tries to do too much at times, and that's the reason why they lost to Denver. Because he did a little bit too much. I'll admit that. I know y'all think I'm on Josh Allen's dick, but he's the best motherfucking quarterback in football. But his team ain't that good. And most quarterbacks couldn't have took Buffalo as far as he took them. Joe Brady's perfect for Josh Allen. Don't let him out of the building. Make him your head coach. And why are you interviewing Phillip Rivers? Baltimore, you need a good OC. If you do that, then I'm okay with the Jesse Minter hire. How do you all feel about it? Okay, I'm going to read some comments in 1 second. The Wolves are eyeing the Bulls trio. Minnesota is showing interest in Kobe White, Trey Jones, and Ayo Dosunmu. We'll see how that goes. Brian Dabble wants the Buffalo Bills job. As I told you, of course he does. The former Giants head coach is expected to become the Titans OC if he doesn't land in Buffalo. I think Cam Ward and the Titans need Brian Dabble more than Josh Allen and the Bills need Brian Dabble. Go to Tennessee. Relax. Call some plays for another year or so, and then get back into the head coaching search, just like Mike McDaniel did. Now, is Mike McDaniel going to take the head coaching job? I hope they just give it to Joe Brady. But you know Mike McDaniel wants that job. He gets a chance to play the Miami Dolphins twice every year. He gets a chance to stick it to him for firing his ass when at one point they said, we're going to keep you. And then Harbaugh got available and he was fired. And they didn't even get Harbaugh. They ended up with Jeff Hafley. And I don't know if that's a good hire or not just yet, but congratulations to Jeff Hafley, the former DC for the Green Bay Packers. Adam Schefter reported yesterday, or a few days ago, that when asked about wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, 49ers general manager John Lynch told reporters it's safe to say he's played his last snap as a Niner. We all knew that though, right? Look for Brandon Ayuk to get traded, but he'll probably get released because who was going to trade for him? The Niners are also looking to probably trade cornerback Renardo Green. It's rumors that they're looking to trade for wide receiver Jordan Addison out of the Minnesota Vikings. It's also rumors that they're going to go for Max Crosby. I don't know how true any of this is, but a 41-6 beatdown will definitely have you wanting to kick the tires on a lot of shit. That's the good part about getting your ass kicked in the playoffs. It makes you get the urge to do more. All right. In other news, the Falcons hire ex-Browns offensive coordinator Tommy Rees following Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta. The 49ers are going to investigate that theory about the electrical substations. I'm surprised that they didn't just downplay this and say, it's nothing. They're actually saying we're going to look into all and everything. That's how you know they're sick of all these damn injuries. Is it something to this theory, or is it just a theory? Josh Allen is throwing to me out there. Any receiver is better than what they currently have. Good comment, Flying Taco Snake. Yeah, he ain't got nothing. They need A.J. Brown. And speaking of A.J. Brown, KC Kent said A.J. Brown drops more balls than Keon Coleman. That's just fake, so they can trade him away. I predicted A.J. Brown would get traded to the Buffalo Bills or the New England Patriots this past trade deadline, and it should have happened because he didn't do a thing for the Eagles this postseason. It's going to happen this offseason. Shanahan also said that the Mac Jones rumors, put it to bed. He said the 49ers head coach said the team is not into getting rid of good players amid the trade questions. He's lying, as he always does. That's just his way to drive the bargain price up. Even though I would love to keep Mac Jones, we wouldn't still been in playoff contention probably had he not won the games that he won for us. But how do you pass up on what they're going to offer? Outside of Mendoza in the draft, there's not a lot of quarterbacks available this offseason. It's not a lot of quarterbacks available in the draft. This makes Mac Jones a high commodity. You've got to get the good while the how do you say it again? It's just too good right now. And you got to take advantage of it, and you got to get it. Take advantage of it. Trayvon Diggs cleared waivers. The former Cowboys and Packers cornerback is a free agent again. The Raiders are eyeing an offensive-minded head coach like Clint Kubiak and Davis Webb. Those two are among the top candidates for Las Vegas. Tom Brady is the one who hired Chip Kelly in 2025. This would be a better hire, but why would Clint Kubiak want to take the Raiders job? He would have to really love Mendoza. But I think the Raiders should just trade that number one pick. If you want to rebuild faster, thank you, Frank the Tank, for those gifts. If you want to rebuild the Raiders roster faster, the fastest way to do that is trade the number one pick, get a load, get that big draft haul compensation for it, and get that D-line and O-line fixed. and settle for a bridge quarterback. Trade for Mac Jones. You don't have to go get Mendoza right now if you're not going to put the talent around him. Or do y'all think he's that good? Sometimes it doesn't matter when you get drafted by terrible organizations. Debo, enthusiast said, we got the worst front office ever, bro. I think he's talking about our Niners. I would agree. But just know that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan is a part of that front office. And Jed York, of course. Southboy said, okay, if you dump Shanny, who do you hire? Here we go again. Southboy, now I said I wasn't answering that no more. But if we could get rid of our general manager, and I don't know who we replace him with, but there's people out there. If we get a good GM, I'd take Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, Joe Brady in Buffalo, Mike McDaniel, before he took the OC job. He would take the head coaching job of the 49ers right now because he's interviewing for the Bills head coaching job. He can still do that. I would take one of those four right now. And I know Joe Brady, nobody knows if he can be a head coach, but nobody knew if Ben Johnson could be one either. And look what he did. I would take those guys. I really would. If we had a general manager that knows how to draft better than John Lynch, and they let those four guys that I just said, Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, Joe Brady, Mike McDaniel, if you would just let those guys coach. Kyle's wears too many hats. And his play calling gets very suspect at the worst time. So, yeah, I would hire those guys. I would have took Robert Saleh to be our head coach. I would have paid him to be our head coach to stay. Hey, we're getting rid of Kyle. Will you stay and be our head coach? I don't think the players of the locker room would have had an issue with that. They love Robert. They love Saleh. And they're going to love him in Tennessee, too. So those are five guys that I would have replaced him with. Call me crazy. I know a lot of people think that there's no replacing him, and it probably isn't because of Jed York. And, you know, he loves them and is keeping butts in the seats. And, you know, we're competitive. But I don't care about being competitive and being relevant for 6 out of 9 years and nothing to show for it. Like I said the other day, I'd rather have 5 straight losing seasons if it's coming behind a Super Bowl winning season. Just give me that one. And whatever happens after that, who cares? When are you going to get me that one? He's going into year 10. Bill Walsh only was our head coach for 10 years, and he got 3 Super Bowls in that time. Might as well say 4 because he left too early and just gave George Seifert that Super Bowl. Like, man, I'm done. You can have this one. And Seifert got 2 more. Off of the same system and scheme and everything, but the one in 89, that was Bill Walsh's. So, like, 10 years and Kyle still has nothing to show for it. He's Andy Reid in Philly. And y'all know Philly never won a Super Bowl. Andy Reid never won a Super Bowl in Philly. 4 Super Bowl losses, 17-year playoff drought, 13 seconds, Music City Miracle, and now that press conference. Not everybody can be a Bills fan. Y'all too weak and would switch up ASAP. That's a comment from a Bills fan, Union Ash 1. Thank you for the comment, brother. And this is the reason why I'm rooting for y'all, because y'all deserve better. The New York Jets just fired multiple assistants. They just moved on from 6 different coaches. Ooh. All right. Aaron Glenn is got to get a whole new staff. Should they have done that like as soon as the season ended? There's a lot of people that have gotten hired. Hey, what's up with this Jenny Buss stuff and LeBron James? They got a lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of drama, but then again, it's always drama when LeBron is involved. Even though it sounds like he really has nothing to do with the Buss family problems, but it's making the news. So I just thought I'd report it. Hey, Kyle Tucker, who just signed with the Dodgers, my Dodgers, said that I think baseball is in a good spot. We have phenomenal attendance around the world. Fans are being very supportive of their teams and their players and the organization. That was his talk on potential MLB salary cap. I love the Dodgers. They can just go get whoever the hell they want to get, and people complain about it all day, but I never heard anybody complaining when the Yankees did this in the 90s and the 2000s. Just spend more money. You've got it. Spend it. The Dodgers are trying to three-peat. Do you think they can do it? I hope so. We just came off one of the best World Series in quite some time, all 7 games. Mwah, chef's kiss. Man, the Blue Jays took us to the edge. The Niners are looking into everything, and they even intend to investigate all avenues regarding injuries piling up year after year, including electrical substation theory. I read that already, kind of. All right. Kyle Tucker, the Dodgers right fit. Shout out to Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. The Vikings extended Brian Flores. That's somebody I wish Kyle Shanahan could hire as DC, but it's too late. Minnesota locked him up quick, but he still remains a head coaching candidate for the Steelers. Was the Ravens, but now they've got their coach. What do y'all think about Jesse Minters and the hire with the Ravens? The Eagles are trying to get the Bears OC to be their new OC. They're interviewing DeClan Doyle. They also tried to interview Brian Dabble, but he chose to go to the Titans instead. And that's what he's going to do if he doesn't get the Bills head coaching job. Other DCs that Kyle Shanahan could look at is Jim Schwartz, Raheem Morris, who got fired from the Atlanta Falcons. Even though most people think it would be Gus Bradley, I'll explain to you tomorrow on that complete Niner episode on how Kyle didn't just say it's going to be Gus Bradley. He said he will look into all options. Players are unlikely to be traded in the NBA are Karl Anthony Towns, Ja Morant, and LaMelo Ball. They're not actively being shopped at this point. 1 week they are, the next week they aren't. The NBA is really getting on my nerves with that. Okay, winding it down. I think I'm almost done here. Brandon Cooks is still bitching. He said that was a catch last week in Mile High Stadium as they lost. And he lost that ball to the Bronco DB as Buffalo got put out. He's still saying it was a catch. The Cowboys hired first-time defensive coordinator. They signed somebody from the Eagles coaching staff, Christian Parker. I think he was their defensive pass game coordinator or something like that. It's his first time being a DC. That's who Jerry Jones hires. Hope it works. What else do we have? What else I got here? Not too much more. I'm winding it down, and I'm going to get back to y'all 1 second here with these comments. Friday Night SmackDown is about to come on shortly. Let's see what else I got here. The Dallas Mavericks may postpone Kyrie Irving's return. Irving could potentially return next season because of Dallas's place in the NBA standings. Bummer. But I understand. And again, the Ravens hired Chargers DC Jesse Minter as their new head coach. He signed a 5-year contract. Everybody signing a 5-year contract. Kuminga still hoping for a trade. The Warriors' forwards relationship with Steve Kerr fractured beyond repair. I'll be glad when they trade Kuminga. Damn, get it over with. Tyreek Hill's future with the Dolphins, likely to come to an end. He's been tweeting like a motherfucker ever since McDaniel got fired. He wants to go to the Chargers and be with McDaniel, and he's probably going to get released before March the 13th. J.K. Dobbins, somebody that we said that could possibly come back this Sunday, he's ruled out. The Broncos running back with the foot injury will not play in the AFC title game, and that just hurts the Broncos' chances a little bit more. Aaron Rodgers could come back in 2026. The Steelers have their eyes on Mike McCarthy, a Pittsburgh guy, for the head coaching job, but it's not only for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if Steelers fans want to see this reboot of Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. You know, this would kind of feel like, what we going to call them, the Pittsburgh Packers? I don't know about that. Y'all wanted Mike Tomlin gone, Steelers fans. Be careful what you ask for. You got it. Now, what are you going to do? I got to throw that back at you all. Niner fans always tell me, well, who are you going to replace Kyle with? Well, the Steelers got rid of Mike Tomlin. Who are you going to replace him with? We're still waiting. Because we can't wait to judge and see, hey, was this the smart move? Was it the right move? Is it going to work? We won't know until they play. But, y'all, there's an episode on YouTube right now and TikTok where I talked about Trey Miguel and the little drama that went on between him and AEW. The Rascals, a group that he's involved with, debuted on AEW Collision about a week ago, and he didn't show up. And then they said that it was something about some old tweets that resurfaced. Tired of people doing that shit. Stop judging people off what they said 10 years ago. Doesn't mean like they're that person today. That's the bad part about social media. Anyway, Dave Meltzer reported that it was the people that were high above over Tony Khan's head, like Warner Brothers Discovery, that wanted Trey Miguel out of AEW, didn't want him on television. But then he showed up on TNA Impact last night on episode 2 of their new TV deal on AMC. It pretty much exposes everything about Tony Khan. It's a lie. And somebody in AEW just didn't want Trey Miguel there. I talked about all of that and WWE Unreal. And wow, the WWE is starting to look blacker than it ever has. And a little optimism for 2026. Y'all check that episode out. It's on YouTube also right now. Okay, that's pretty much all I got. I'll read a few more comments and we can close this thing out. Better watch out for my 4-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Well, you got Eric Bieniemy back. Congratulations on that. Frank the Tank said Aaron Rodgers is washed up. Yeah, I don't think he should come back in 2026, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. Who follows Saleh to the Titans, and could the same happen if Schwartz or Morris goes to San Francisco? Yes and yes. I think Jawan Jennings could follow Robert Saleh to the Tennessee Titans. The Niners would like to keep him, but if he goes over $20 million, they're not going to re-sign him, and I wouldn't either. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's not a wide receiver 2. Well, maybe he's a wide receiver 2, but he's no 1, and he's slow. I love him, love his passion, appreciate what he's done for the Niners, but that's one person that'll probably go to Tennessee. Another reason is because he played for the Tennessee Volunteers, and he's from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm very familiar with the area. I'm here in Memphis. I think he is going to come to Tennessee. I think as far as players that could follow Jim Schwartz, I would love for it to be Myles Garrett. Even though we know Cleveland is not going to pull the trigger. And Raheem Morris, I don't know if there's anybody from the Atlanta defense that I would want, to be honest with you. So I can't say about him. But I would love one of them to be our DC over Gus Bradley. Good comment, 49ers Razorbacks. Why did JJ say can't wait and then proceeded to only catch 2 balls? Which is why you don't pay him more than what he's asking for. Which is why he's probably going to the Titans. Saturday night main event tomorrow. It is. And I talked a little bit about that, but I'll talk about it even more after tonight's SmackDown. I'll probably do that in the morning. You got Cody Rhodes and Fatu. I think that's a no contest, no call. Nobody's going to win it. You know how safe Triple H likes to book. Neither one of them probably wins. What else you got? Tag team match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they'll retain versus Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. We know we're getting the Fatal 4-Way where it's Trick Williams versus Randy Orton versus Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn. I'm pretty sure Sami Zayn's going to win because the Royal Rumble is in Saudi Arabia, and he's going to fight Drew McIntyre at the Rumble. I just hope they don't screw McIntyre over. Now, any other matches? Probably only one other match. I'm sure we'll find out about that tonight on SmackDown, which starts in about 15 minutes or so. Bernard says the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. Frank the Tank said he was their DB coach. Okay, right. I'll take Raheem Morris over Gus Bradley, but I'd rather have Jim Schwartz. And Shanahan never beats him, so if you can't beat him, join him. The 49ers had no business playing against the Seahawks. The Eagles beat themselves. Thank you for the comment, West Philly. But they've done that all year, and that's why I said that we're going to upset them. The 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl in 31 years. You're correct. And if you go on this channel, since you're on here right now, if you would like to check that episode out, I have an episode that I did 2 months ago. It's on the channel right now. It's called The 31-Year Curse of the San Francisco 49ers. I like how you did your math. You know how to count. That's good. Darnold might get a ring. He very well could. Eagles own the Giants. Eagles own the Rams and the Packers. Thank you for the comments, y'all. Lens, Welders, Fitz, Corbin, Barber. What are your thoughts on LeBron saying that the Persian Empire will rise again and lay waste to the what? To the degenerate culture of the modern West? Is he spitting facts? I ain't heard nothing about that, bro. Let that marinate for a minute. I wasn't expecting a question like that. Okay, that's it for YouTube with the questions. And do you think Brady is going to bring on a quarterback with talent just to squander him away? Yes. I think that they'll draft Mendoza. They won't put enough talent around him, and it'll take him to get to 2 or 3 different organizations before we finally see he's not a bust. As good as he is, how good and successful can he be with the Raiders? If the Raiders were smart, they would just trade their picks. Trade that pick, get a gang of picks, and revamp that O-line and D-line. Start there. Trade Max Crosby to San Francisco. I'm just saying, trade him somewhere, though, and get more picks. And take all those picks, and if you can draft and hit on more than you miss, because you ain't going to hit all of them, but if you can hit on more than you miss, the Raiders can be back in about 2 seasons. It'll be a lot faster than just, we're going to draft that quarterback, and then what? He ain't got nobody to throw it to. He ain't got nobody to protect him. Ashton Jeanty had no holes to run through. So I just don't know if that'll be the right decision. But we know that's probably what they're going to do. All right. Dodgers should have lost to the Blue Jays in the World Series. Well, they probably should have, but they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't. So you're rooting for the Seahawks now, right? No, I'm not. I'm not rooting for anybody. Are you listening? I'm not reading no more comments when it says user. Y'all ain't even got enough. Never mind. Luciano, I think Shanahan holds on to players for too long. Yes, he does. Because they're his buddies. You know somebody else that he tried to hold on to? Brandon Ayuk. How did that work out for him? He's the one who ran upstairs and said, hey, no, don't trade Brandon Ayuk to Pittsburgh, John. He's going to sign the contract. John was like, I'm about to trade this motherfucker to Pittsburgh. And we were going to get George Pickens in return. And you think we should keep Kyle, Niner fans? Y'all don't remember that story? We were going to get George Pickens. I would rather have George Pickens than not have Brandon Ayuk at all. That's how it could have been. Kyle stopped it. Traded Debo a year too late. Hey, Brody, remember me? I don't know. Nolan? No limit. Nah, I don't think I do. But I'm glad you're here. And I hope you stay here and come back. Jets could make all the moves they want. Trash. I hear you. But they've got the artillery. They've got plenty of ammunition. All the draft picks that they grabbed, if they can just hit on them, the Jets could be back in no time. But I understand where you're coming from, Spliff. They have definitely been trash. Good afternoon, brother. On another note, where you get that Jordan poster in the back? Says Sergio. I don't even remember, brother. I really don't. I'm sorry. But thank you for recognizing greatness when you see it. Okay, I read those already. All right, that's enough. I'm going to get out of here. I'm about at the hour mark. The 49ers been in the Super Bowl 2 times in 10 years. How many teams can say that? Well, I don't know. But I know how many teams, but not many teams can say they've been to 2 Super Bowls in 10 years and lost them. As a matter of fact, the 49ers have been in 3 Super Bowls in the past 13 seasons, and they lost all 3 of those. What are we doing here? What are we talking about? Thank y'all for letting me know y'all like to just be in Super Bowls and shit. I'm glad we lost last week and we were not going to win the whole thing anyway. I don't like going to Super Bowls and losing. That wasn't our thing. That wasn't a part of our repertoire. We were 5-0 in Super Bowls. Now we're 0-3 since then. 0-3. And you just want to comment that we've been in Super Bowls 2 in the last 10 years? Not many can say that. And we didn't win them. I'd be surprised if Sean McVay gets to the Super Bowl and lose. Same thing for Mike McDonald. Either way, McVay would have 2, Shanahan 0, and McDonald would have 1, and he just got there, and that's still 1 more than Shanahan has because he has 0. That's all I know. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a great day. I'm going to watch SmackDown and eat me some dinner. I hope y'all be good. And if you're anywhere from Texas and the Mid-South where I'm at here in Memphis all the way up to the Northeast, I hear it's going to be kind of rough. Y'all be safe, and we're going to be snowed in. So I'll be giving you more content in the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Until then, y'all be safe. Follow The Great Debate Show on all social media platforms, because you never know when your favorite unk might pop back up. Until then, y'all be safe. Peace.